Howdy, it's 2020 and everyone's dying of the plague, and that's kinda stressing people out. And you know what's good when you're stressed? A nice old bedtime story. Just pop open a book. Any story's a bedtime story if you read it at bedtime. RuneScape has tons of books, so I figured, well, I'll read one for you guys. It'd save you the trouble. You don't have to worry about it. Save those peepers of yours the time and effort. I'll take care of it. And so today I figured I'll be reading The Battered Tome. An exciting little tale, I know. The name's just like, oof. Ooh, it makes you wonder what could happen. It's the history of Morytania, or as it used to be called, the Hallowlands. In years gone by, the land of Morytania went by another name, that of the Hallowed Land. Much of that age has now disappeared into mists of time, and as distant and forbidding as that time appears to be, sometimes, like that dread land, Morytania itself, we need to shoulder our heavy armor and trudge wearily onwards. To understand the past gives us some glimmer of hope of understanding our time here now, and perhaps a hopeful glance at a future. The strange structures of the land of Morytania is due, most likely, in no small part, to many wars that have been fought through the lands of RuneScape. But even here, there is something quite strange about the terrain. Swampy and rotten, the foul smell of death and desolation fills the air. Where does this pungent aroma come from? It is said that before the Dark Lord Draken arrived in Morytania, a very different land existed. A green land, pleasant and bounteous, sufficient to please hundreds of farmers, and to supply large towns, villages, and cities with food. There is little information to support this idea, but there are hints that this land has not always been the darkened and dreadful place it now appears to be. There is some speculation about a time before our recorded history, when there appeared to be some disputes between the gods. In this time, it is said that Saradomin and Zamorak brought forces into the world to fight for them and claim large areas of land. Where they brought these forces from and how is still a mystery, but we can hardly deny that many weird and unnatural creatures do exist in this land. Things which even the most advanced of scholars do not yet comprehend. Many of these creatures still infest Morytania, and their place of origin is still not properly located. As an example of strange creatures, let us focus on the ghasts in Morytania Swamp. Which bizarre act of nature caused these freakish creatures to exist? It seems that whoever dies in that diseased and disgusting place is forever doomed to it, ever hungry and searching for victims to feed on. Blessed is it then that somehow brave new adventurers are able to reveal these foul creatures and destroy them with great aid of Guthix, who adores balance amongst all things, and at the same time release the tortured soul from its earthbound torment. It is clear that some influence is at work in Morytania, and its intent is bent towards evil. Before this dark period in history, Morytania is believed to have had a golden age of peace. It is hard to imagine that the shade-infested town of Morton could have once been a busy, happy, thriving, bustling town. And even Canifis, once a busy market village supplying all manner of goods to the local population, instead of a cesspit of werewolf activity and a certain death trap for all but the hardiest of adventurers. Stories and yarns told by the inhabitants of Morytania and those lucky few who make their way out of that dark land give us some glimpses of what might have happened there. From these peoples come many bits of story and song from which we can piece together a plausible history line. That is the true aim of this tome. Let us begin with the current overlord of Morytania, Loernil Vergidiad Draken. His reign in Morytania has been unchallenged in the history of this land, as far as we can tell. But how long has this been? What do we know of this Dark Lord? It is clear to many who have visited Morytania that he is a creature of darkness, a vampire. But by which strange happenstance did he come to be here? Some reports say that he came from beneath the ground of a great castle that stands in the middle of Morytania, but reports claim that a huge city lies beneath the castle. This does not seem plausible. Yet others say that there are countless tunnels which lead into a flaming dark inferno, which it is claimed these dark creatures come from. Even more unlikely. What is interesting is that in all these great yarns, one fact always remains the same. He came into and attacked a castle which already existed. It is the author's belief that the castle existed before Draken entered Morytania, and that some other power existed in the land before him. What this power was is not known, though stories again give us a glimpse at what might have been. One such tale is of a queen from a faraway land of considerable power and revered by the peoples. It is also claimed that the peoples named the land Hallowland after her, though there is no true record of this. It is interesting to consider, is it not, that a time of peoples and pleasantness could have existed in the land of Morytania before this, and perhaps to consider, hope, and pray that at some point those times shall be returned to this dark, plagued, and unhappy land. However, let us not forget that had it not been for the 7 priestly warriors at Silvaria, that the lands of Morytania might extend today as far as Falador, and Varrock may have been an even more sinister city than it appears today. Whatever the truth of all these details, it seems clear that Draken is intent on staying. His authority in this region has never been challenged, and perhaps arguably has grown over the centuries. Reports from the area are limited and vague, so perhaps the truth is either far less or far greater than we may currently comprehend. In any event, it is clear that some strategy should be forthcoming if Draken's evil minions should once again try to spread into Mistalin. It is believed, perhaps in error, that Paterdomus will stand forever as a silent guardian against the power of Morytania. Perhaps one day we will see a redress of the evil that Draken has brought to Morytania, and we will get to witness firsthand the bounteous riches and wholesome living that can be had in the land once called Hallowland. Well, there you go, kids. I hope you enjoyed your bedtime story. Let me know what you think I should read next time, because there's a lot of books in this game. Have you got something else to read, though? Maybe some spicy fan fictions between Neve and Maud Ash? I mean, I wouldn't say no. I'm not gonna say I'd say yes, but I wouldn't say no. Yeah, let me know down below. Have a nice day.